All right, welcome in. Game one in the books. Celtics, that first quarter, my God, was unbelievable. Could not miss. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about game one, where this series is going, how long we think this series is going to go. Tate is here joining me. We're going to talk about Dan Hurley, too. We got to talk about Dan Hurley. Yeah, which feels a little more real than it did this morning.
Yeah, picking up steam.
Which I think most people thought it was very real this morning, but now the steam is getting picked up. We'll talk about that after we talk about game one. First, I want to talk about Body Armor Zero Sugar, the brand new Zero Sugar sports drink from our friends at Body Armor. Provides real hydration with no artificial sweeteners, flavors, or dyes. Whether you're looking to stay hydrated or recovering from a long weekend, Body Armor Zero Sugar has got you covered with great tasting flavors like fruit punch and lemon lime. We have those right in front of us right here. We have the orange also in the middle. All of them are very good. I've been on a fruit punch kick as of late, but they're all great. They're all very, very good. There will be a time in my life where I'll switch back to the lemon lime. It could be happening any day now or not. I don't know. The fruit punch is really good. They're all great. Body Armor is available at Walmart or your local grocery store. Head on over and get yours today. Body Armor Zero Sugar. Good stuff. All right, game one. We waited 5 to 7 days. I don't know how you count days. Brandon Walker and I tried to count how many days in between NBA action, and
what'd you guys come up with? Yeah.
I think it just tore the entire show apart. Like it just we could not arrive on anything. Do you count the day?
The day they lose does not count.
The what now?
The day they lose does not count. The next day counts.
So the day of the last game of the series didn't count.
Doesn't count. And then it counts. I got us at 6 days.
You clocked it at 6?
Clocked it at 6.
Okay. Whatever, 6 days. We'll call it 6 days. It was 6 days. We were waiting 6 days for the NBA Finals to start. A lot of anticipation. A lot of, sports media guys had gotten every ounce of juice they could, squeezing that orange and just getting everything they can out of it. Kyrie's going back to Boston. Oh, yeah, Porzingis. People forget he used to play for the Mavericks. That's interesting. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. Do they hate each other? Looks like they hate each other. Look at this clip from the Eastern Conference Finals where Jaylen Brown won MVP and Jason Tatum is standing back in the back row.
We almost had too much time to overanalyze what was going on.
And finally, we get the basketball. The ball is tipped, and there we are.
And it was good to have it for about
7 minutes.
But it was fun. It was fun for a little bit.
Yeah, in the third quarter, Luka got hot and made it interesting as well there for a second. But the Celtics are just too good. They are. They're definitively the best team in the NBA. They proved it all season. There is a world where this could still be a series. Like, I don't want to overreact too much to game one because that tends to be the trap you fall into with every series. Right. Like, it's happened all play. NBA fans, and I'm throwing myself in the mix, we never learn our lesson, ever.
Well, I mean,
where game one's played and we're just like, well, shit. That's just
the Celtics did what they were supposed to do tonight.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, the Mavericks come back and steal game two, and we're doing this show next week, and it's
like,
the Mavs stole one.
Driver's seat. Yeah,
the Mavs win 2 in Dallas, and
I guess that's the joy of a 7-game series. Is you just do that. You just react to whatever you just saw, and you say, "Holy shit!"
But what we just saw was it a butt kicking or was it an ass whooping?
It might be a sunning. It might have been. Well, the third quarter made it not as much of a sunning. That helped it not be a.
If
sunning.
It didn't have that. Now the third quarter was interesting because it was an even quarter.
Yeah.
But there was a time where they get it all the way back to 8, and then the Mavs get it all the way back to 20.
Luka's feeling himself. He's hitting tough shots. He's hitting like step backs with a hand in his face. He was not good in the first half. Well, towards the end of the first half, he started playing a little bit better. He was awful. I thought for his standards. And the hard part about NBA is these guys are so good that even when they're bad, they're still like putting up numbers. Because at halftime, I don't know. I remember at one point I turned to Che and I was like, "What's Luka got right now?
He's got 21.
Terrible." He's got 21. I was like, "There's no fucking way Luka has 21, dude. He's terrible right now." And then he started getting hot and went on that little stretch. I think he only ended with like 30.
He had 30, and which
is crazy because I felt like he was good in this game for like 6 minutes.
Yeah, he had that opening, the end of the second, beginning of third, where he outscored the Celtics by himself.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure the Celtics were willing to give the Mavericks an opportunity to get back in the game. It's just no one other than Luka really wanted to accept that. So
the Boston Celtics, and this is not a new observation, but it's an observation I'm going to make again. It's something that's been evident all season. It was especially evident tonight. Mm-hmm. Every single guy that sees the floor for the Celtics, and I'm not including like Cornette and which maybe I should, but not really. The guys that The guys that are in the rotation, not the guys that got the 3 minutes and came in.
About eight tonight.
Every single guy can not only shoot, they are comfortable shooting. I would say every single guy, if like a game unfolded where it's like, we need you to shoot 10 threes because like the ball, we're just going to swing and make the extra pass. And as it turns out, like Al Horford had that game against the Pacers where he shot 12 threes.
Exactly.
And then he had another one. Was it a separate game where he hit 7 threes?
And then, I mean, tonight, seven Celtics hit threes tonight.
Yeah. They have every single guy that sees the floor not only can shoot, because it's one thing to be like, he's capable. Every single guy is like, I'm hunting shots. I want to shoot threes. That's what I want to do. It's fucking disgusting. It's impossible to guard. And when they're hitting, I don't know what you do because in the first half it would, like, the Mavericks seem to have like their strategy seemed to just be, which makes sense, like, let's throw doubles at Jason Tatum, let's get the ball out of his hands, let's make them throw it around, and the Celtics are like, okay, you just have now left shooters wide open, and we're gonna make every three.
And the Mavs haven't ran into that all playoffs so far. Like, every team they've played has had someone that has to like stay inside, can't stretch them out. Tonight, Kristaps comes back. I mean, the Celtics outscored the Mavs, what was it, by 27 points from the 3-point line. Because you throw that double team at someone, they pass out of it, they hit the one more, and like, you're not throwing it to Rudy Gobert in the corner. You're throwing it to Kristaps Porzingis, or you're throwing it to White, whatever it may be. Would they hit 16 threes tonight? So,
yeah, it's great. Porzingis was awesome. The first half, the Porzingis run was very fun.
He came into the game, I'm pretty sure at the beginning, Hank was like, he looks slow out there.
There was like, well, he had, I think his first three was a little bit of a line drive, but I think I think what made it look like a line drive, what made it feel like a line drive was that we haven't seen Kristaps Porzingis play basketball in a while, and you forget he's like 7'7", like how fucking tall he is. What is he, 7'3"? Is he listed at 7'3", 7'4"? And he's so tall that he does shoot like sort of line drives as compared to
he shoots
guards.
And he was shooting over the small people, and then they put a big on him and he takes him to the basket. And it's just, I mean, he started 7 of 9 in the first half and really was
fire.
Do you have a Kristaps Porzingis finals MVP ticket? Because
you ready to start that conversation?
I was gonna say, I'll tell you who it's not, especially if they don't let him sit around in the fourth quarter till there's a minute left in the game.
Who's that?
Jason Tatum.
I don't want to do this.
Okay, all right.
I don't want to do this.
What was he, the 4th best Celtics tonight?
Celtics fan. The thing is, like, we were doing the live stream, and I pointed out that the Celtics were up by 30, and Jason Tatum had done nothing and was playing terribly. And I had people chirping at me like, dude, you're such a fucking hater. And I was like, how could I be any more complimentary to your team? I was pointing out that you're so fucking loaded. Like, imagine the embarrassment of riches you have, that you have a first-team All-NBA player who's like MIA in the first half, and you're in the NBA Finals and you're up by 30. Yeah, up by like 29. I was like, that's a compliment to the rest of your guys.
For sure.
That's one of the weirder things to me. I don't understand the Celtics, like the Celtics fans' defense of Tatum to that degree.
Take it as a compliment. I mean, they're loaded. Jason Tatum did not play well tonight.
Nobody's saying Jason Tatum's not good.
Correct.
Jason Tatum's so fucking good. We're saying, what a luxury. What a luxury to have if
he was their 3 or 4, and then Drew Holiday's their 5th starter. Are you kidding me?
They're so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I'm trying to figure out like the way this does become a series, and it's basically just like Boston doesn't make threes, or I mean, I guess the Mavs need to be a little more deliberate about like matchups they're trying to attack on the other, because I do think like the story of the first half was the Celtics are hitting everything and they're red hot, and how is anybody going to stop them? But like, don't sleep on the fact that they're also an insane fucking defense as well, which doesn't help matters. It's like you're letting the Celtics hit every 3 on this end, and then Luka's getting bottled up on the other, and Kyrie didn't really play particularly well. And the Mavs don't have the Mavs don't have the depth and the like the other options that I know. PJ Washington is good, but like the Celtics can do it as a team. The Mavs aren't going to be able to do it as a team. If the Mavs win the NBA championship, it's because Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving were superhuman.
And tonight, I think you gave a little bit of a pass to Kyrie there. Kyrie was bad tonight.
He was bad, yeah.
You say, no, he was 6 of 19, 0 of 5 from 3. He had the worst team minus 19 on the court. He had as many turnovers as he had assists. I'm not a Kyrie fan, I'll say that. But my point is, Luka got his, Kyrie didn't get his, and it's supposed to be you need 2 people at least.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. The Mavs can't win unless both those guys are superhuman, which they're capable of being. But I am curious moving forward. Like, it does feel like the Mavs were like, let's just this is sort of a feel it out game, and you felt it out.
You did.
It doesn't feel good.
They got to
figure out how we're going to attack this defense.
When you talk adjustments going to the next game, first of all, if the Celtics shoot like that in the first half, the Celtics are going to win basketball games. So I don't think they're going to shoot like that in the first half of every game. Kyrie simply needs to play better. They need to get more movement on offense. Like Luka's getting his, Luka's doing it. It's like,
that's the problem though. That's like kind of who they are.
It is,
like Luka.
One of them's shooting.
I know
30%.
I agree with you, which is why I'm not the biggest Luka fan in the world. Like he's immensely talented, but that's always been my frustration watching him is how ball dominant he is. But also, when he's on, it's like, maybe I'm an idiot, and that's how they should play and whatever, and you just go back and forth, and then when it's not really, when the offense gets a little sticky and clunky, you're like, this is why. Right. This is why you need to be more like the Boston Celtics and have the most efficient offense of all time. This is what
I mean, until the very end of the game, down the stretch, their bench had 7 points, 2, 3, and 2.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, it looks good. Like you said, it looks good when Luka's dominating. And what they really need to do, because the advantage I think the Mavericks have in this series is they have the closers.
Right.
But
you
got to get you got to get the ball in his hand.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
I do think the Mavs would have that advantage in a hypothetical of like it's a tie game with 3 minutes left.
Right.
Like I feel like the Mavs would be way more comfortable in that scenario. But are we ever going to get there? I don't know. You have to imagine the Celtics aren't going to hit every shot in the first half of every game, and at some point, the Mavs will hit shot. Kyrie was like you said bad, but he also. Adding to that, like he had wide open threes that he was bringing. I think he missed 3. I called game 3 times when he
3 game-winning shots.
3 game-winning shots.
But, it was funny, Titus. That's for the game. They're down like 16. But with all jokes aside, there were times where ball moves around the wing, it goes to Kyrie. He's got a chance to hit a big one.
Yeah,
missed them all.
Yeah, he. Well, the first time I called game, full disclosure, I'm addicted to calling game in basketball games, like very early. I'm addicted to be.
I think you called game. You called game early.
It was early, dude.
Yeah.
It was the first quarter. I think the Celtics were up like 5 or 7 or something was all.
But,
and then Kyrie or Luka, I think it was Luka maybe, got a wide open 3 in the corner.
Missed it.
I was like, that's game.
And I will say, credit
I'll be
to
damned,
you.
I was right.
We should have started the show then.
We should have just. It's so good, dude. There's nothing quite like calling game and being right. I don't know. I highly recommend it. It's probably annoying as fuck for everyone else around you, but let that be their problem. Just call game.
After the jump ball next time, whoever wins the tip, I'm like, well, this one's
over. The best game I ever called was Baylor Gonzaga national championship. I think it was a minute into the game I called game. Baylor comes out and was like fucking. You remember that game?
Yeah, of course.
Like Baylor was like they just looked like men against boys.
And you're like, that's it.
I was like, that's game, dude. Like this is like you could just tell they're moving better. They're moving the ball, but maybe it wasn't a minute. It was probably like 2 minutes. It was definitely before the first media timeout. I was like, that's game.
Pack it up.
And then they blew them out.
So you called game early today. Are you calling series?
Not yet, because I do think the Celtics are obviously better. I do. I don't want to overreact to one game, because again, that is the trap you fall into with NBA series. But yeah, I mean, like the Celtics are very, very much the better team. But all these series are about adjustments, and you have to believe that Kyrie and again, I don't mean to like say Luka stunk. He didn't stink, but like. If you watch that game from start to finish, there was that one stretch where it felt like you were watching Luka Doncic be Luka Doncic, and for the rest of it, he was kind of MIA and a little getting clamped up a little bit, and like he was out of sorts.
They're both going to play better.
They're going to play better. They're going to figure it out, and they're going to find their matchup. They're going to be more deliberate. I think that's what they need to do is be a little bit more deliberate about like who you're attacking, how you're going about attacking them, and I have to believe that they will make. And
Jason Kidd's made great adjustments in the postseason, so they've struggled in game ones before. I think they've lost 2 of their 3. So about midway through the second quarter, I would have called series, but then everything looks better when you're making shots.
Yeah, it's true.
Then all of a sudden the Celtics start missing shots. The Mavericks start making shots. They get it back to 8. So, yeah, I'm confident that I mean, shoot, the Mavericks could steal game 2, and all of a sudden we're talking about a different.
The Celtics, though, it does feel like the Celtics are in the same position as like UConn basketball, which we're going to talk about Dan Hurley in a second. But like when UConn's going on their NCAA tournament run, it's like it's hard to really find anything to pick at. So let's just say, what happens if it's a close game late?
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, it's never going to be a close game late, so we don't really have to worry about it. And it feels like we're heading down that same path, because I do, like, if you sat here and tasked me with coming up with scenarios where this doesn't go well for the Boston Celtics, the only thing I can think is like the psychological piece of it all of like, you know, I do think that beyond like Luka and Kyrie being more of closers, I do think that Tatum does have like a psychological block. I think that is like a real thing. Not to say he's not clutch, but like I do think that he gets in his own head at times, and Jaylen Brown can do the same thing. And maybe that's the path, is like you get these guys, put a little pressure on them, put them on the ropes. Like, how are they going to respond? And it's like, well, listen to yourself. You're saying,
yeah, you're crazy.
You're like, what are you doing?
Well, it's like the argument coming into this. It was like, hey, they've had it too easy of a path.
Yeah.
Well, no, they've kicked the shit out of everybody on the way here.
But that's what everyone was doing to UConn last year. It's like, well, let's wait and see if Purdue can
still
keep
waiting
it close
to see.
in the national championship, then we'll. And it's like, well, we're gonna be waiting a long time, and so maybe that's what it ends up being. But I want a good series, man. I want a good series. Controversial, I know, but like I would prefer.
We're getting
a good series.
We're gonna get one.
Yeah, I think I do think the Mavs will win one, and I think when they do, it'll be convincing. It won't be like this tonight. It won't be 20 plus, but I think it'll be like, I think at some point we'll get the influx of tweets from people that are like, we got a series. Now, whether we do or not,
it'll be good to feel like
it'll be 2-1. Maybe it's game 3. Maybe the Celtics blow them out game 2, but then the first game back in Dallas wins by like 15. And then it's like,
we got a series on.
Yeah, we got a series on our hands, and then the Celtics win game 4 by 30, and it's like, no, we don't.
I hope so, just because that was such a long lull in between series, and it felt good to have basketball again, and then blow out, and it's like, shit, what are we gonna do? So
yeah, but anyway, there's not much else to talk about. Congrats to the Celtics. It is cool though. I do think it was cool how, I don't know if you saw a lot of this, but it felt like most of America was playing the what if game with the Indiana Pacers. You know, the Pacers were up 3-1 in moral victories over the Celtics, and it's hard not to let your mind wander and say, damn.
Was that the finals?
The Pacers.
Saw a little bit of that.
The Pacers
tonight.
right there.
Yeah, right there on the verge.
Right there. They almost.
No, are we sure Luke is 100%? Are we saying that?
I don't know, man, because that was happening like during the Clippers series where Luka wasn't playing particularly well.
That's called the loser's limp,
and then it's like, yeah, I don't know. That's just kind of how he is. He's just. I think he lulls you into a false sense of security with his health and stuff, and that's just kind of how he operates. And
I just know the narrative coming into this is the Celtics haven't played anyone at full strength. Jimmy's out for the Heat. You know, Donovan Mitchell, Jared Allen's out for the Cavs.
Oh, so yeah, you want to throw that out there?
It's like, let's start this one. They're not they haven't played anyone.
They haven't played anyone.
Mickey Mouse title.
Yeah. Every title's a Mickey Mouse title, I think. If you really work hard enough, you can make it. Yeah.
Make every title one.
The haters will find a way. We know that about the haters. They will absolutely find a way. No, it is going to be an interesting subplot, the Finals MVP though. I do think that I mean the Celtics are going to win the championship, but I do think it's going to get interesting if like Tatum.
I would say after game 1, you would have to say it's anyone's game, because Tatum was not the best player tonight, but he's the best player.
Yeah,
Brown's in there. I mean, Porzingis came back and was truly the spark that put them on that run tonight.
Yeah, I mean Tatum is third right now behind Porzingis and Brown, at least third. A lot of basketball left to be played, but I'm curious. I am curious how much he will think about that, and Celtics fans will say he won't think about it at all. And I will say you couldn't be more wrong. He's thinking about it. There's a reason why Jason Tatum was in at the end of that game tonight, and
I turned to you. I said
Jaylen Brown and Kristaps Porzingis were on the bench. There's a reason why.
It was the coach in me, and I look up and I'm like, what an idiot.
Yeah,
you know, Tatum. It's 2 minutes to go. What if you roll an ankle? And you looked and said, everyone knows why he's in this game.
So again, if you're grasping at straws, like add that to the pile, the very small pile of like criticisms, or not even criticisms, just like things that make you think there might be a series or Dallas might have a chance. Is like, what if Jason Tatum gets in his head about like I gotta go win the Finals MVP tonight?
You think that's
and
what
he shoots them out of the game or something.
The Mavericks fans are putting their head to sleep tonight, being like, it's okay.
It's okay. This is
Tatum's
going to
go for the MVP.
Tatum's going to. But the opposite could happen too. Like Tatum could go for 50 again too, and you're like, well, fuck, never mind. Then that's that. I want to talk about Roback, and then we'll talk Dan Hurley a little bit. Roback Activewear. You all know how much we love Roback. It's summer, and we are living in Roback. Chicago summers can get toasty, but Roback keeps us comfortable through it all. You can count on seeing certainly me. I'm going to go ahead and speak for Tate as well. At the beach or on a boat, rocking the new Roback swim trunks. They are simply the best swim trunks on the market. They have this built-in boxer brief liner that is so comfortable. Second, the Roback Everyday shorts are unmatched. There are no shorts on the market quite like them. You can wear polo untucked with them for a clean look, or put on a tee and go play pickle, enjoy a long walk, or wear them out and about. I wore them to the golf course not too long ago.
Versatile.
They're like I don't know how the golf club felt about it. Wasn't wearing a belt, but I was like, you know what? These are Robacks. These look fine.
Right.
These look great. And they didn't say a word to me. So finally, Roback polos are the only polos we wear. The collar's crisp. The fabric is moisture wicking for those hot summer days, and the designs are incredible. So use code SPORTS on Roback.com for a generous 20% off for all new customers through the end of the week. That's RHOBACK.com, 20% off polo shorts and swim trunks with code SPORTS. If you can't remember the code, just think about what's the best thing in life, man. What's the best thing in life? Sports. We love sports, don't we? All right, game one. I think that's I don't want to belabor it too much. Celtics are awesome. The Mavs were not, but
Titus, I'm fired up for this next part of the show.
You hold out hope that Luka and Kyrie can figure it out and make this an interesting series. All right, let's get into the big news of the day in the college basketball world and I guess the NBA world. Dan Hurley to the Lakers. This morning, it was broken by Woj. Now I'm a Woj hater. I'm very.
Ooh, that's a tough morning for you.
I'm very transparent about this. I do not like scoops guys at all, like any of them. Woj is like on the forefront of that, and so for that reason, I'm not a Woj guy. But I do have to tip my cap to Woj for having the scoop that the team that didn't have a head coach was interested in hiring the best coach in basketball.
No, don't play him down like that.
That was an incredible.
That's an undersell.
What's the scoop?
I think this is kind of like a career-defining scoop for him.
What's the scoop?
The scoop is that the whole world is ready to anoint J.J. Redick, the head coach of the Lakers, and he says, "Oh no." That guy that just said that he doesn't want to be anywhere but Connecticut, going across the country to Los Angeles. You did not. If I would have asked you that last night, you would have said 0.0.
Well, I mean, if he was saying they were high, well, I wouldn't have said 0.0.
Yeah, that was two.
That was too many zeros.
I retract one decimal point.
There would have been a 1 somewhere in there. But also, what was the scoop? They're talking. No, I will say.
As of this morning, you're saying that's all the scoop was.
This is my frustration. Woj is going to get it right, whatever. But my frustration with the scoops guys is like, when you have news, tell me the news. You don't have news, don't tell me the news.
That's
it's just
fair.
like like the news this morning was like they're
interested.
They're interested, and I was like, that's not
no shit.
That's not news, and that's why I get frustrated by these guys. But be that as it may,
it has escalated.
It has escalated. It feels like there's momentum. It feels like Dan Hurley perhaps will be the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. So you go ahead because you're fired up.
I am very fired up because I think, like, I made a pros and cons list this morning. I don't think he should go now. That's my official statement. Do you think he should go? Do you think he will go?
What's fascinating about this is I'm it's about as 50-50 as it gets for me.
Which is crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah. I'm interested to hear your pros and cons because I have a lot of pros and a lot of cons for both. Probably not a lot.
Let's go UConn first.
I would say more a handful. What
do you think the number one thing, if you were to rank the number one thing why he would want to stay at UConn, what would it be?
Deity status. Like you are on the path to be like there are a lot of good coaches, there are a few great coaches, there are only a select number of gods.
Correct.
In college basketball history, and you are in position to be a god.
I have that at 2.
Okay.
I think I have the fact that you can only, like, he's about to have a chance to three-peat. You three-peat in today's day and age in this transfer portal, NIL, whatever, he's going to be a god.
Very realistic chance at 3. That's not just like they won 2 and so if things go right they could. Like they're going to be a top. Now I don't know what's going to happen if all the guys transfer now and whatever, but
if he leaves, right?
Yeah. assuming he stays and their roster they have stays and
Mhm.
everything is as it was 24 hours ago,
They could
they're going to be a
legitimately
top 10 team. They're going to
Yep.
be a top 10 team starting next year.
So just before that, I think him having total control at UConn.
Yeah.
For a person like him, the way he coaches, the way he interacts, the way he works, he has final say on every single thing that happens at UConn. And I think that works in the college game. I don't think it works in the NBA. And I'll double down. Not only does it not work in the NBA, it doesn't work on a LeBron James NBA team.
Yeah. That's the interesting dynamic. I think it's a fair concern. I think Dan Hurley's he's not like I think there's a belief that maybe he'll dial it down a little bit and maybe like he's a great coach and he has to be able to read the situation and like adapt and all that sort of thing. But at the same time,
You got to be who you are.
And he has what more validation do you need if you're Dan Hurley that your way is the right way to coach basketball than these last 2 years? So he's like sitting there and he's probably thinking like, yeah, you know, some of the people in the outside world think that when I motherfuck my guys, it's too much and it's whatever. Fuck them, dude. Like I've won 2 national titles.
He
Like
can
my
do
way's
whatever
the
he
right
wants.
way. Yeah.
So that's my question for you then.
I don't know if he's going to dial it back.
So when you say dial it back, and that's what they were talking about today, they're like, he's good at reading the room. He's good at reading people. Okay, he reads the room in Los Angeles. He goes there. He dials it back. Why is he dialing it back? Legitimately.
He's dialing it back because he doesn't have the stature. He doesn't have the respect, I guess.
And
that in that locker room that he has in the locker room in stores.
And because he's afraid that if he talks to those professionals like that, they won't respond. So he's changing who he is because of them.
Yeah.
You come to stores right now, you're going to change who you are because of me.
Ooh. Ooh.
Come on.
Ooh. Did you write that down?
No.
Did you practice that in the
off the top of
mirror?
my head.
That was good.
I used to coach.
That was good.
But no, so I've got total control.
Yeah.
I've got godlike, you can only repeat once. Let me tell you something, Titus. He's married. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, shit.
Do you remember what she said about the Kentucky job and all the other jobs? She wants to stay on the East Coast.
Now, I hear that.
Do you know where Los Angeles is?
Los Angeles is on the West Coast, but I think women do be shopping now. We know this. And she takes one trip.
Oh, you're going. Hold on, you're going to the Lakers side.
I'm just saying. Like, I don't know Dan Hurley's wife. I don't know
Andrea
what her pleasures are, but I have to imagine that it's not going to take much for her to be like, yeah, I could live in LA.
Really? I hear you. When the opposition is used,
because I think you're using Lexington, Kentucky. No shit. Like I always try to be careful when I talk about other cities. Like we are both from parts of the country that people shit on all the time. So I'm not looking down on Lexington. I'm just saying from as compared to Los Angeles.
I guess
if you're in a position where you're Dan Hurley and Andrea Hurley and your husband's about to make $100 million, Los Angeles, not a bad place to live. But yeah, I hear you. I don't know. I do think there is some truth to that though. Like he's an East Coast guy. It's in his blood, and like I am curious how much that will matter now. Like when you're in the NBA, you kind of insulate yourself from the whole like West Coast. Like I don't think like coaching the Lakers is different because they're a franchise that's in the spotlight at all times, and your games in February are getting, they're opening Sports Center and shit in a way that like no other franchise really is, except maybe the Celtics. But as far as like the day-to-day job of being the Los Angeles Lakers coach, I don't think it's that much different than like the Thunder or the Kings or the whatever else in terms of like what you're actually
doing as opposed to the.
So I don't know if like where you're geographically based.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think like he's gonna like. I don't think Dan Hurley, if he's taking the Lakers job, is like these fucking West Coast.
Yeah, like he's more likely to take an East Coast NBA job. That's fair.
It doesn't. I think in college that matters. I think in college, like it's like I don't want the UCLA job. I'm not a West Coast guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think in the NBA that part matters less. Now you do have to live in that place, and like you do have your family. But again, like Los Angeles, I think she'll get over it quick.
She could go. Okay, all right. I'll strike that one from the UConn. But I got more. Where do you think? If he could coach anywhere in college, where would he want to coach?
UConn. It's UConn, yeah.
So
definitely UConn.
Right. So I would say that the number one thing that I'm hearing from people being like, why not go do this? Why not go? Hey, if it doesn't work 2 years later, you can get any job in America. They're going to want to hire you.
Yeah.
Maybe not UConn. What are they going to hire the UConn coach?
You can't get that back.
I do think
Maybe he could though. I don't know.
Do you think he has the pull to be like,
I want my job back.
Fire
Whoever is there.
He could, but they're saying
interesting.
They're saying like, hey, Texas will give him big money. They'll give him that SEC money. Yeah, but he wants to be at UConn.
He wants to be at UConn, yeah. But I don't think if he goes to the Lakers, he's going to be in the NBA for a while. Because even if he fails at the Lakers, everyone will think he failed because of it's the Lakers situation. And they're LeBron was old and they wasted a first-round pick on Bronny for God's sakes.
Right. We'll get into that.
Like they'll blame it on everything else. If he's fired in like 2.5 years or something, 3 years, whatever, another NBA franchise will hire him, I think. And then after that, because that's where kind of Billy Donovan's at, by the way, like right now. And that becomes, by the way, if we're doing the backfill of UConn, that's an interesting one. Because Billy Donovan, I don't think Billy Donovan is not like a, what the fuck were we thinking that this guy would be an awesome NBA coach? I don't think the league is ready to like throw him in the garbage forever. But
people forget, where he was a great coach. College game,
yeah. And I do think he's at a point in his professional coaching career where he's like, like just another guy, and he's just kind of a basketball coach.
He was the guy in college, so
I wonder if that'll happen with him. But what else? So I just think
my final stance on the UConn side is there is a time to go. It cannot be when you have an opportunity to three-peat at the school you want to coach at.
Yeah. But this happens every time because speaking of Billy Donovan, people do forget this. 2007 when he cheated to beat Ohio State in the national championship. Everyone remembers that. Yes. They remember that part. Everybody remembers that he cheated. A lot of people don't remember, he took the Orlando Magic job, Tate.
He did.
The last coach we had in college basketball who was in this position where he won back-to-back national championships, he said, I've done all there is to do. And he took the Orlando Magic job. Then he did his introductory press conference, and he looked around, and he was like, what the fuck?
Why did I take this?
Why am I Orlando Magic? What was I thinking? And then he went back to Florida. But, like, he was enticed by that.
I just think if we're talking, is this his only opportunity to go to the NBA? Absolutely not.
No,
why not?
I'm with you. I think he, but 100 because Bosco's reporting $100 million. Rico Bosco's
$100 million.
Rico Bosco's reporting it's $100 million.
And he's what 33 million at UConn right now.
He's thinking it's going to be around 100. Yeah, and it's like 6 or 7 years, $100 million.
Right, I'm moving the wife to the other side of the pros and cons list.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's talk Lakers.
So I think that part of it is I don't know if UConn, and I mean this genuinely. I'm not saying they don't have the money, but I don't know if they have the money to compete at that level because there is like a sentiment out there that's like, well, fuck UConn, just fucking flip over couch cushions, find it, keep your man, and it's like how does that work? Because they don't have they're in the Big East, they don't have like the football contract and there's 2 lifeboats in college sports right now. One is the Big Ten and one is the SEC, and I guess like the Big 12 is doing all right.
And
I guess there's 3 then, but
none of them.
And UConn's in none of them, and so I don't know what their financials look like to where it's like, yeah, let's just write a check for $100 million, as because like obviously if they could they would.
Right.
There's no amount of money they would not pay Dan Hurley to keep him in stores, but I don't know if they have it.
Steve Kerr's making $17.5 million right now. Greg Popovich $16 million.
That's twice what I make, dude. It's crazy.
Spo's making 15. Monty Williams 13.
Yeah.
Danny Hurley's making, I believe, under 6 or maybe about 6.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. I think coaching in the NBA is infinitely easier than coaching in college, time-wise, mentally-wise. You don't have to. You know who your players are.
Keeping your job is harder.
Way harder.
Doing the job.
The
day-to-day.
Summers off. Not summers off, but like
summers off.
Like a teacher. He's going to be $100 million teacher.
He's a teacher. No, you're right. You don't have to worry about some of the minutia on the level that you do in college.
You have to recruit kids and you have to recruit your own kids every single day to stay.
Yeah.
I just think a job's gotten much
So what do you make of that? Because there's chatter about that too, that we're living in a time where the coach that won the football national championship, the 2 big revenue sports in college sports, the 2 head coaches that won national championships have voluntarily left their schools to go to the pros. And some are saying that's an indictment on what college sports has become, and this is a canary in the coal mine situation. Others are like, hey man, one guy, Jim Harbaugh, is facing sanctions or punishments, whatever. He's just getting out ahead. And also like his roster. Well, even if you're not someone that wants to go down that path, you know, you can acknowledge that Michigan's roster, huge roster turnover, and this year they're going to take a step back. And he's like, I'm going to get out while I'm on top. And then Dan Hurley, it's like he's tripling his salary to go coach the fucking Lakers and LeBron James.
Right.
Like, of course. So other people are like, I don't really think I think it's just two isolated incidents that like don't really mean much.
I wouldn't call them isolated incidents. I will say that the interesting dynamic with Michigan having the roster turnover and also the looming suspensions, probable vacations, in my opinion, of asterisk national championships, all of the above. But my point is this: I do think professional sports and the fact that you have signed people to contracts and you control your roster, whereas in college, I mean, man. Top of the top, yeah, people don't leave. Your starters don't leave, but you've got guys that can play ball that will transfer because they're getting offered more money elsewhere.
Yeah.
After every single, so you have to recruit your guys, you have to recruit the incoming guys, recruit your own guys, find NIL money for your stars. Your stars aren't getting paid enough. Your backups want to go make money somewhere else. So, yeah, no, I believe that you want to get out of the college game if you can go make more money for an easier job.
I couldn't do it.
Which
could
one?
like the
college.
Yeah, I like talking to college coaches. It's crazy, and I've made this point the last few years is like the landscape has changed and the rules have changed, and you know paying players has become the norm. Whereas like was it 5 years ago? It wasn't even that long ago. 5 years that like putting too much cream cheese on your bagel.
Oh no, yeah, it was not 5 years ago.
And now the schools are actually paying players. But I said this before that. Privately, behind closed doors, just about every single coach was like, fuck this bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't that they didn't want the players to make money. It was that like this job has now become just too much, and they hate it. And they hate it so much. But then what was interesting, Tate, every single one of them in front of a microphone was like, hey, listen, the landscape's changing.
Because what are you going to say?
Because what are you supposed to say? And it feels like now's the time where it's not fully changing, but I think the cracks in the dam are showing where like people are having the courage, dare I say, to stand up and be like,
speak out.
Hey, I don't know if I like this.
No, but I think that goes to show exactly what you're saying. The fact that it's a different conversation behind closed doors and when they're at the microphone shows how much the inmates run the asylum right now. Like the coaches have no control. If you want to coach hard, which is why the whole Danny Hurley thing is so interesting, is because he can coach hard.
Yeah,
he can
like,
motherfuckers.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I guess like the thing with the Lakers is like if he coaches that way and I think they have to give him a chance. And by they, I mean like LeBron and AD, and then like basically just LeBron. If LeBron is on board, then the rest of the team will follow, and whatever. And LeBron's going to be on board because LeBron does. I think he has a respect for Danny Hurley and his knowledge of the game and all that. So he will give him an initial chance. And if Dan Hurley's in there, motherfucking guys, which by the way, like he's not Bob Knight. Like Dan Hurley's not like I'm gonna fucking kill you at all times. He's just a fiery guy. And when things are going when you're doing the right thing,
he's intense in the same
like,
way.
Hell yeah. You know, like he's chest bumping you and he's getting you fired up in a good way.
Does that work in the NBA?
But that's what I was gonna say. If he's going to do that, and if the Lakers start 8-2, I think they'll be like, we're fine with this. This is good. Like, yeah, this is all working. If they start 3-7, I think there might start to be like, this guy's kind of a bozo,
right?
You know, and that's the reality. Is winning heals everything.
Always, yeah.
I think when in doubt, just win games, and I think you'll be good as a coach. I still don't think it's a done deal just because like Coach K got offered the Lakers job in 2004. That was a done deal. I remember that well. That being a done deal. And I remember having the conversation you and I are having right now off air with, like, obviously I didn't have my podcast yet. That didn't come for another year. I launched that in 2005. But I remember having the conversation with my buddies, the same shit that you and I were talking about, just like, oh my God, dude, this is going to change everything. This changes everything. And then Coach K was like, no, I'm actually going to stay at Duke. So I do think there's a world where Danny Hurley, it'll probably take something like sentimental though, because I don't know if UConn, the Lakers throw $100 million at him, UConn's going to be like, Danny, all we got is like we can give you 54. That's all we got.
Literally
we got 54.
Mm-hmm.
But Look. I want you to here's what we want from you, Danny. I want you to walk to your front window right now. I want you to draw the blinds, and I want you to look out there, and it's just like a fucking candlelight vigil of like people singing, singing like UConn fight songs to him, and then
one more year,
one tear rolls down his cheek, and he's like, I can't leave these people. These are my family, you know. Like that's what it's going to take.
So it's $100 million or sentimental.
Or sentimental, basically, yeah. And I think there's a world where it's sentimental. I don't know. I don't know how sentimental Danny Hurley gets and all that. But I mean, like I would say it's 90%. He's probably going to go to the Lakers, but there's a puncher's chance, and I think the UConn people are like, we got to give it all we got. We got to rally and go to the Hurley house and
so obviously
do whatever it takes.
You're of the opinion the money's the biggest draw, or do you think it's like the?
I do also think the opportunity, whether at this stage in his career it makes sense or not. I do think the opportunity to coach LeBron James has to be enticing for a basketball coach.
I was going to ask that. So LeBron would be like, I coached LeBron James.
Yeah.
And also it's the Lakers.
It's the Lakers. Yeah, both. I think both of those are. I mean, Brad Stevens said as much when he took the Celtics job when he left Butler, because he was, you want to talk about sentimental and like, I don't know if I can do this to these people. That was Brad Stevens at Butler. Brad Stevens was like, Brad Stevens didn't take the Celtics job for the money. Brad Stevens didn't take – I don't even think Brad Stevens took it for like the I want to go after the ultimate challenge type thing. I think Brad Stevens took it because it was the Boston Celtics. Right. I don't think Brad Stevens was like, my ultimate goal is to coach in the NBA, and a job came up, so I'm going to take it. It was like, I have to take the Celtics job. There are two jobs in professional basketball, and really all of basketball, but like there are two jobs bigger than everything else. It's the Boston Celtics, Los Angeles Lakers. I had the opportunity to take that. I have to take it, and I think that does play into it. And LeBron has a reputation as being the coach killer, which is for maybe justified. I don't really want to do that conversation now, but that's like that's out there, like he is a coach killer, and yet I do think that he's like the fucking. Is it the mermaids? Do the mermaids sing on the? I was thinking of the analogy with I always do this, Tate. I always have a half analogy and then I go for it and then I don't.
It was the mermaid.
The mermaid. Who are the people in mythology? The women that would sing on the rocks of the shore, and then the sailors would sail their ships trying to have sex with the women, but they would actually crash their ships onto the rocks, and then
Those are the mermaids.
The sirens. They were the sirens. I think that's the sirens. That's LeBron James. It's like I see the shipwrecks in front of me. I see all the other men that thought they were gonna fuck that mermaid. I see all their ships at the bottom, right? Like I see him. I gotta go try. I gotta go fuck that mermaid.
But it takes the thing about Danny Hurley though is he sees all that and he thinks he's better than all that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I saw someone today say it would take a true psychopath to turn down $100 million in the Lakers. A true psychopath? Danny Hurley. Yeah, Danny Hurley. Psychopath.
Have you seen you ever watch Arrested Development?
No, I haven't.
Okay. There's a meme from Arrested Development. Tobias is one of the characters, and I don't know how to describe it. He's insane, but there's like a line in that show where he goes, him and his wife were on the rocks, and they were going to see like couples therapy or something. And then it's been a while since I've seen the show, but the line is like, these people delude themselves into thinking that this is going to work. And yet, it just might for us, or something. I'm paraphrasing.
The Danny Hurley to the Lakers story.
Yeah, that's what it's like coaching LeBron James, though. It's like all these people, they delude themselves into thinking that they actually run the show, when really it's LeBron that runs the show. But yet, I might be able to be the guy.
Person to do it. Well, you got to think. I mean, I know this has happened for the last 5 LeBron coaches. LeBron James has given his vote of confidence to hire Dan Hurley.
Yeah.
Right. So like.
Yeah.
And LeBron James knows what type of person Dan Hurley is. So the narrative, I would like to think that Dan Hurley's not going there to be LeBron's assistant. Like LeBron has told someone in the Lakers organization, he's going to run this team.
But I think that's how it always starts.
It is always starts.
That's how it always starts. And when the Lakers are in 7th place in the standings, well, not even 7th place, they're going to be in like 11th place a month in. Then things suddenly change.
Well, when does his total control start? Because the other thing is this: if Dan Hurley signs a $100 million contract, he's signing for a long time. Is he about to use his first-round draft pick on Bronny James?
I want to see Bronny James and Andrew Hurley on a basketball court together for the Los Angeles Lakers, dribbling out a clock. I want to see Bronny
not shooting.
I want to see Bronny and Andrew Hurley running just just like drive and kick over and over with each other. I want to see them.
But that's a legitimate question. Is he's not going there? Like LeBron James, has like what, 2 maybe 3 years left.
Yeah.
So he's going there for post LeBron James era as well.
Right.
And the post LeBron James era, you cannot do things like go draft Bronny right now.
Yeah.
But the Lakers,
they're not gonna draft him with the 1st round pick. I think they'll draft him in the 2nd round. I do think the Lakers are gonna draft him. I think it's becoming clear, and it was always kind of clear. But then I was willing to do my due diligence and like try to think through other hypotheticals of like, does Bronny go undrafted? Does another team take a flyer on Bronny, hoping that like they could sign LeBron somehow? What are all the possibilities here? And now it's just being crystallized into like it's going to be the Lakers.
2nd round.
The Lakers are going to use a 2nd round pick on Bronny.
Yeah,
that has to be what it is.
Yeah, I would say, man, I wouldn't put it past him to get him at 17, because you don't think there's somewhere between like 17 and like 54 where someone's like, we'll take a flyer.
The fact that this draft sucks so much does make that wrinkle so much more interesting, because there's really like, I don't know how many guys in this draft are guys that are project to be starters in the NBA in like 5 years.
Fuck it, take him one.
Just take him one, dude.
Tell the Hawks to go get him.
So there is that element of like, you're not, if you take a massive swing on Bronny James, you're not, the opportunity cost isn't that large. So that I just don't think teams are going to do it, but that makes like that makes the discussion worth having, or like makes it fun hypothetical, because
you're not turning much away.
Yeah, dude. If you have the 26th pick, fuck it,
fuck it.
Just fuck it.
No, I did
we should sell that shirt in the merch store that says "Fuck it, take Bronny."
Hey, I was thinking this though. If he does go UConn to the Lakers,
yeah, do
you think this late in the game that the coaching carousel can go around so many times that maybe there will be an opening for Mark Titus?
For me?
For Mark Titus? It's late in the game.
Well, I'm disappointed JJ Redick wasn't hired, because that was, if Doug Gottlieb and JJ Redick both get jobs, that was a great precedent for me. What happened with Redick?
Maybe I'm crazy, because did you see his quote yesterday, or was it today, where he was like, this will be discussed after the finals? Like, he already knew what he was talking about. Is JJ Redick going to be the assistant coach for Dan Hurley?
Oh, shit.
I think that.
Okay, so if JJ Redick takes the assistant coach job for the Lakers, is Shams vindicated? In some way. You can't be fully vindicated.
He's vindicated, yes, but Woj
got him.
Woj got him.
Yeah.
Can you be – did we discuss, can you be a podcast host and an assistant coach on the same team? Or will LeBron be looking for a podcast host? Or Robin?
Yeah, he could – yeah.
You can do that?
I don't know. What do the bylaws say? What do the NBA bylaws say?
I think it said something about the Doug Gottlieb clause. Like, if you can coach and run a podcast, you can coach with your player.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, the coaching carousel in college basketball. This was the best coaching carousel. I'm gonna pat. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do, and I don't do this often.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people think it's a little showy and a little narcissistic. But I'm gonna pat myself on.
Oh, well earned.
Good job, Mark.
Good job.
I said this coaching carousel in college basketball was going to be insane.
When did you call it?
When did I call it, TJ? That was like February?
Before the tournament.
Before the tournament, yeah. For sure.
Before there was really like any of this.
Yeah, before Cal left Kentucky.
Wow.
It was really like Louisville was open. Ohio-State became open.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan was trending open. You see that coming. Villanova I thought might open. It didn't. Musselman, there were rumors that he wasn't happy at Arkansas and he wanted out of Arkansas. So I was like the dominoes of that, because Arkansas is a good job. Nate Oates was a hot name, and of course he didn't leave Bama, but like that added to it, where it was like, if now Nate Oates leaves, then like what does that look like? But then the Cal part of it too was like I thought Cal was legitimately on the hot seat for Kentucky, that like if he lost the first round of the tournament, he might not still be at Kentucky, and then Kentucky was like, no, we'll keep him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, I'm gonna leave.
That was fun.
Yeah, and I was like, I think this is setting up to be an all-time coaching carousel, and I certainly didn't think Dan Hurley was going to join the mix, but I do think there's probably a little bit of the nothing left to prove thing too. I think there's some validity to that. I think if you've won 2 titles, now there is the competitor in you might say like, who cares? That's in the past. We got to focus on the next one. It's always about the next one. It's always about the next one. And sure. But if you're wired to like want to do it at the highest level, if he said that was his reasoning, that would check out to me. If he was like, I felt like I have nothing left to prove in college, and I want to go to the next level and see if I can do it there. I think there's some validity to that. I wouldn't do it. But dude, there's so much fucking money. That's so much money.
It's so much money, but the money is there.
But you were gonna make so much money in stores, dude. You could just stay in stores and win. How many national titles? So how old's Danny Hurley? 50. Let me guess. 50. Yeah, I'm gonna say 52. No, he's older than that. 56.
51.
51.
Brother Bobby's 52. He's 51 years old. We have the same birthday. Shout out.
Oh, you're 51 too?
Well, different years.
Okay.
But anyways, what were you saying about that?
So I said, okay, so he's got what? Say 20 years coaching?
For sure.
If he wants it, 25.
If he wants to.
I have to imagine like guys now might retire a little bit earlier. I think the days of like guys coach until they're 100 years old. I don't know.
It's kind of by the wayside.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna get like a Joe.
We're in this like I can't deal with these kids anymore.
Yeah,
Nick Saban.
I don't know if we're gonna. But say he coaches 20 more years.
Mm-hmm.
If he stays at UConn and we're just coach 20 more years, is three more national championships out of the question in 20 years?
If he comes out of this
5 national titles in his career,
we're talking about him as like
one of the all-time go. Like he's
top 3.
It's yeah.
Do it like.
What does K have? He has 5.
Why?
K has 5.
Talking myself back into him.
Fucking K has 5, dude, and he's got 2, and he's 51 years old.
So Wooden, Coach K, Dan Hurley, is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
How do you turn and he, like you said, so they're back-to-back national.
I don't think that's unreasonable to in the hypothetical say if you're there for 20 more years.
Because he can get one this year.
You get one this year, yeah.
What if he got one this year?
That would be legendary.
I will say
was
this.
UCLA the last team to three-peat? They have to have been. Yeah, it had to have been UCLA.
Well, when you talk about money, though, so we're talking about what a difference between right now he's at $33 million. You're saying maybe they get him to 50, and then we're talking.
I'm just throwing that out.
Yeah,
there.
so
I have no
33 to 100.
I'm just like you're not going 33 to 100. I can't imagine UConn has.
That's the thing is like when you talk about like what's the difference between this and this? When you do that with like NBA max contracts, what's the difference between 230 and 260 million? Okay, that's fine. Those are both astronomical numbers. There is a big difference between $30 million and $100 million.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
It's about $70 million. Yeah.
Thanks, Titus.
No, I'm with you. I'm like that.
Like that's a big deal.
$70 million is a lot of fucking money.
Literally double your lifestyle.
Yeah.
Triple your lifestyle.
Yeah.
How do you think he would, if he is going? I think he'll do it in a classy way. He's already done it in a classy way. He's told his players.
Talking to his players.
Yeah.
And
what if he stays? Can we get a?
Yeah. I'm not fucking leaving. But I just want Danny Hurley in college basketball. He's so good for the game. And like you saying that is kind of cruel because I can picture it now. I can picture his announcement that he's coming back. I can picture it. I can see it all, dude. Like it would get me fired up.
I'm juiced up for the title.
Yeah. And I mean like he's obviously UConn's had like a ton of fun players, and I actually liked last year's team more than this year's team in terms of like the personalities and the guys, like Jordan Hawkins and Andre Jackson mostly. Like those two guys, I just fucking adored. Cam Spencer, I love too. I don't know, I like them all, but obviously the reason the persona of the team is obviously the head coach, and I've made this point a few times on the show recently that UConn's won back-to-back titles, and I don't want to say they're not hated, but they're like there is an element, and you might agree with this. That like you're watching them, and you're just like, I kind of like them.
No,
I love
100%.
First of all, I love the style of basketball they play, but two, like it's so easy to root for. They just feel like a likable group, and Dan Hurley is
the ringleader
big reason for that. And and like I don't know, he fires me up. Yeah. And I have no ties to UConn. I don't care for whether if UConn doesn't win a basketball game, a single game next year, won't affect my life one bit. And yet I find myself fired up by Dan Hurley. And I find myself like,
which is crazy for such a dominant team. Like I would say the general perception in America is like, fuck the dynasty. Like, okay, the Chiefs go back to back. Let's beat the Chiefs. I would say going into next year, I will be sad if he goes to the Lakers because I'm fired up to see if he can three-peat, and I'm cheering for him to do so.
What's the most likable dynasty that we've had in sports? It's the Jordan Bulls. I that's what it was. It was the Jordan Bulls. When Jordan was on the Bulls, everybody was cheering for the Bulls. Everybody was. In 1998, every single person outside of the state of Utah was like, I want Michael Jordan to make that shot.
Yeah, that's the answer.
Oklahoma softball.
Oklahoma softball.
Shout
Great
out
answer.
That's why we actually did the live show tonight.
4 in a row.
Yeah.
What's the least likable? Brady and the Patriots?
Probably, right?
Yeah, I mean.
But they weren't bad at the start.
The Yankees is a good one.
Pick a Yankees decade.
I will say, and 90s. I don't know if this is controversial. I did kind of like the 90s Yankees. I kind of did. Like I thought they were like fun. I don't know. Now when they started winning a lot, like I was like, all right, kind of over this. But
I like a good dynasty.
I wasn't cheering for them. I was just like, I can't. I don't actually. I don't. Yeah, I respect.
There you go. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, who is the least respected dynasty?
I'll tell you who it is, Titus. We're not trying to talk too much Ohio State women's hockey on this show, but it's the Ohio State women's hockey team. Big Cat says that Wisconsin has the dynasty right now when we have won 2 or 3 of the last 4, whatever it is.
2 of the last 3, I think. But they've won 3 of the last 4. I don't know.
But if
we have two women's hockey dynasties going on at the exact same time right now.
And next year is going to be an all-time live stream.
Yeah. Yeah. The Spurs dynasty, I feel like people don't respect the Spurs. Maybe they do. They like pop.
Yeah. What does it take
people
to be a dynasty?
Was the Spurs even a dynasty? Kind of was, right? The Spurs won a ton of titles.
Can I go back to women's hockey just one time? I hate to do this.
Please, this is the show.
This needs to be added into our discussion with Big Cat. So we won last year.
Yep.
They won the year before.
Yep.
We won the year before. So we've won 2 of 3.
Won 2 of 3.
They won the year before. But listen, we didn't know this part. Who would you say, in Big Cat's opinion, won this last title? Wisconsin, right? Because he's saying 3 of canceled due to COVID.
Oh, so COVID won that. So
COVID won that, and they won in 19, so they've only won 3 of the last 6. That's
so that, yeah.
And that's talking women's hockey.
Women's hockey. Did our cricket team do something today?
Yeah, biggest upset in the history of the sport, I think, is what they're calling it.
Hell yeah, dude.
Fuck yeah.
Beat India
I love America.
Hell yeah. I'm fired up for the Olympics.
Yeah.
I'm going to love the Olympics. We need Jason Tatum. I'm going to become a Tatum guy when he puts on the USA. You're a Celtics guy over there? Like,
no.
Walk us through that. We'll end with that.
Titus was bullying me today. It made me feel bad a little bit. I'm a grudge guy. I'll say that. I'm out on.
So you don't hate the team that knocked your team out of the playoffs?
I truly despise, and I've shared it, I truly despise LeBron James, and I truly despise Kyrie Irving. If you fuck over Cleveland, then I don't care what you did for us in 2016. You fucked us over. You're diabolical with He met with Dan Gilbert, and he said, hey, this team that's gone to the NBA Finals 3 years in a row with LeBron, Kevin Love, and Kyrie Irving, trade me off this team or I'm going to demand that I get knee surgery. We traded him for Isaiah fucking Thomas. Kyrie Irving. He was my favorite player too.
I love this about you.
So I threw on a.
I don't love that you're cheering for a team that knocked you out of the playoffs. I don't think you need to cheer for the Celtics.
Can I tell you a secret?
I think you could prefer that Kyrie doesn't win. You could do it that way.
Left my apartment today. Had on an Irish shirt. Came downstairs. I was like,
that's too much.
I said, this is too much. Let me go put on it. Because I'm not a Celtics fan. I'm not. Yeah. I fucking hate the Celtics. I don't like Boston. But I do not want to see Kyrie have any success.
Yeah, that's fair. I like that because when LeBron left the second time, I didn't necessarily, I'm not going to tell people how to feel, but I was like, it is kind of strange that LeBron came back to Cleveland and his whole thing was like, I'm coming home. Mm-hmm. This is where I belong. I could live anywhere in the world, and this is where I want to be with my people. And then that lasted like a couple years, and he's like, "Actually, I'm just kidding. I'm going to LA now." And like most of the Cleveland people were like, "Yeah, man, do you?" And I was like, "Dude, no,
no.
You think when he came back to Cleveland, he was doing that out of the goodness of his heart? He was doing that because it made the most. Because that was a title when
he left because he went to a title team. He came back to a title team. He left because there was another title team. Fuck that motherfucker. And let me say this. I'm sorry.
Whoa.
All right.
Whoa.
I find a new reason to hate LeBron every day. Let me tell you today's reason. Did you see him and JJ on their podcast today? Talking about fouling up 6. Did you see that?
No, I didn't. No.
LeBron James, the biggest pathological liar of all time. And I'm not just
I didn't know you had this in you like that.
I hate LeBron James. And he said today, he was talking with So he's like, I was watching the Mavs game, and they were up 6.
It does sound like that, too.
He's like, I thought to myself, wait, up 6, if you foul and they make both free throws, it's still a 2-possession game. I've never thought of that before. Has anyone ever done that before? And J.J. Redick was like, that literally happened in the Celtics versus Pacers series. Joe Mazzulla did that on national television. Did you see that? And LeBron goes, you know what? I don't think I caught that. You don't think you caught that. You just discovered a new thing to solve basketball that you've been on the earth for 40 years. It just happened 2 days ago.
I love this.
I'm out.
I love this. You hate LeBron more than I hate Woj.
I hate LeBron.
Yeah, Woj got the scoop. That's
Hat tip to Woj.
They're meeting in California on Friday.
That's the Hurley meeting.
Tomorrow.
So
That's tomorrow.
not traveling for nothing, right?
Yeah, that's a good point, TJ.
Yeah.
That just added.
What do you need to see really? But why doesn't Woj just report that he's taking the job? Is that a fair thing?
No, you're right about
that's
that.
Like, I am a hater and I am biased and I'll take the L that Woj got a scoop that's.
But the original report being the Lakers are interested in hiring.
Part of the frustration is just like, what are we doing? Like, do you have something? Do you not have something? And it's always like kind of the.
Yeah.
It's always the.
Say it
and
with your chest.
Woj will fuck up the draft too. He'll fuck up the draft.
And you'll be there to.
And I'll be there to remind everybody that he fucked up the draft. And I do for what it's worth. Like the sad part about Woj getting the W is that and me being so open about how much I don't like Woj is that I don't like Shams either. I don't like Woj more than I don't like Shams.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
I didn't see that coming.
I don't like any of the scoops.
You're out on scoops.
I'm out on scoops guys in general.
Okay.
So it was a little bit bittersweet because today I was like, well, this just proves that these scoops guys are full of shit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Shams is telling us it's J.J. Redick, and it's not J.J. Redick. But then Woj will get it right. So then, like, other people are like, well, you said you hate Woj, but Woj got it right. And I'm like, but I hate the whole industry.
Yeah.
And this is a great example. Why? Because it's 100% J.J. Redick. And it wasn't just like, let's talk about whether we think J.J. Redick will get the job. It was getting to the point where it's like, okay, so when J.J. Redick installs these plays, it was like we've already moved on to like this is actually happening. And then now it's Dan Hurley, and it's like the report is that Dan Hurley is being targeted by the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of being like, oh, okay, that's interesting. I wonder if Dan Hurley's going to take the job. We're like, oh, okay, so here's the offense that Dan Hurley's going to run. I'm like, what are we doing? Like, you can't.
No, you're right about that.
So the whole industry I hate because of that. It's like when you have something, tell us what you have. If you don't have something, go sit over there and stop. Like,
have you ever broken a news, Titus?
It's a sore subject.
Is this coming from a deeper place?
It is. It's a sore subject, and I think you.
I actually don't.
Deep down, you know that.
I don't know that.
I had Steve Alford getting fired by UCLA before everyone else, and then I didn't tweet it. I was a coward.
I didn't know that.
I was a coward. I took Brad Stevens to IU off the board in Vegas. Did you know that?
I didn't know that either.
I memed Brad Stevens to IU harder than anyone has ever memed anything.
Okay.
You've never seen the memes that I was in like
you were in the lab,
I was downloading apps that had like Chinese spyware on them because they were just like
you got your identity stolen three times just to make these
I'm
memes.
fucking signing up for accounts to make memes. And I'm just tweeting out. I'm fucking rapid firing Brad Stevens to IU like crazy. And it's a true story. Like this is actually a true story that you could gamble on Brad Stevens taking the Indiana job. And I'm not saying it was 100% me, but I was leading the charge and Vegas took it off the board.
Wow.
And I'm not saying it was 100% me, but
you had your hand in there.
So that's not a scoop.
Okay.
That's not a scoop at all. But that was the closest I came to dabbling in the scoops game because I was like talking to a lot. I had like 3 or 4 people at Indiana that I was talking to, and they're like, we think we're not 100% sure we're getting them, but like there's some serious smoke. And I was like, fuck it.
Yeah, let me get the memes.
I was like, fuck it. I was like, that's all I need. I was like, I'm not a real journalist, dude. All I need is a little smoke, and I'll meme this shit.
I knew there was a little deeper connection.
Yeah. So that was it. I don't know what I called. My biggest scoop was Michigan State. It's so stupid now, but Michigan State Michigan basketball game got canceled because of COVID in Ann Arbor. I had the scoop, and it was other Tate and I tweeted it from our account, and everybody just laughed at it. Like nobody did anything with it. and then
that's tough.
And then like 5 hours, or it wasn't even 5 hours. We had it like at night, and the reason we had it is because one of the players on one of the teams, I don't want to out my sources, but one of the players on the teams was like, we just got word that the game's canceled. You guys should tweet it out. Here's a scoop. So I was like, fuck it, I'll do it. And we tweeted it out, and everybody just ignored it. Everybody ignored it. And then 12 hours later, like Rothstein or something was like, we're hearing word that this game's not going to happen tonight. This was the night before the game was supposed to happen. Nobody cared. We got no credit. And I think at that point I got a little bitter about the scoops. I was like, I think I'm out of the scoops game. But I also say that over and over and over, and I don't know. I can't resist them. Like when they roll in, I'm like,
I've had an opportunity.
Start rubbing my hands together, and I'm like, that's.
I had one scoop in my career, and I nailed it too.
Yeah.
I was actually in Columbus. It was a couple years ago, and I was out to dinner and friends with someone whose brother was on the Ohio State football team. Mm-hmm. She goes, "Oh my God, Denzel Burke's not playing against Wisconsin tomorrow."
Oh.
And I said, "Can I tweet that?" And she's like, "Don't say who you got it from." And I said, "Breaking news: Denzel Burke out with a hand injury tomorrow." Everyone's like, "No, he's fine. He's fine. He's fine." Got hurt in practice that day.
Whoa.
Next day, in like college, you don't have to be like so and so's out today. So and so's out.
Yeah.
Didn't suit up. Midway through the first quarter, ESPN's like, "By the way, Denzel Burke's." I said, "Motherfuckers, I told you
can't
this
cite your source, Ohio State. Like, what are we
please.
doing? What are you please?" But I think my experience with the handful of scoops that I've had in my life, or whatever, not even scoop, like just the information that trickles in that I'm privy to here and there. My experience with that makes me hate the scoops game more, because when I'm sitting in that seat and I feel that like what I'm feeling, I'm like, dude, this is all just narcissism on full display. Like every feeling I have is like, I'm the fucking man, dude. I'm the man.
I control this.
And then I realize like this is what these people do for a living. And I'm like,
all day, every day.
You're not doing a service to this sport or this industry. You're just.
And they get off.
You're just sucking yourself off. That's all you're doing.
Draft day to tell us before the picks even happen.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a rivalry. It's one of the great rivalries, really, is me versus the Scoops guys. I continue to take L's, but I don't know. Every so often I get a W. The draft, the Jabari, the Paolo Banchero, Jabari Smith draft was a big W for us Woj haters. Mm-hmm. When Woj was like, it's Jabari Smith. It's going to be 100% Jabari Smith. And then he fumbled over his wording when it was like Paolo. He's like, yeah, the wave. What do you say? Like the winds of change are blowing or something. Like the waves are flowing a little different way.
Someone got a scoop wrong.
The baseball scoop guys have taken a beating over the years. Bob Nightingale, I don't think it's ever going to take right.
Oh, really?
John Heyman said Arson Judge is headed to the Giants.
Oh, I remember that. The Arson Judge, yeah.
That was not true.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, to the Giants.
Yeah.
That's where the Arson Judge thing came from. He was supposed to go to the Giants.
He was trying to speed that take out, and it was wrong and misspelled.
Yeah, and the whole industry is like I don't know. I do the rant far too often, but
wait 5 minutes, the teams would tweet out the information. We don't need the guys.
But Woj got a good one, and I guess like that would highlight like maybe
why we need them.
Maybe do more of that, like
but that's
more of the
actual scooping instead of just jumping on news.
But also, like, there's a decent chance that the Lakers just announce we're hiring Dan Hurley tomorrow, and then it's like, I mean, we could have
waited.
We would have known this information anyway.
We wouldn't have had this conversation though.
We wouldn't have had this guy. We wouldn't have anything to talk about on the show tonight.
You did say. So
maybe I do appreciate the Scoops guys for that. They do give me a lot of content.
Well, you were talking
even shitting on them, doing the rant I just did. I've done that 1,000 times, and I'll do it probably in 3 weeks. I'll do it on the show again. What were you gonna say? Sorry.
It was just that yesterday you were like, "Hey, let's do the live show tomorrow night. There's nothing to talk about in college basketball." And then shout out Woj gave us the best story of.
I did say that. I was like, when we do the show for Friday, we might as well go live after game one because there's really nothing else. Game one is the only thing in basketball going on, and then we get hit with this. So yeah, maybe I should thank him. All right, you got anything else?
No. Is he going to be the coach of the Lakers or going to be staying at UConn? We'll know by this time next week.
Yeah, next week. Who will be the coach of UConn?
Who will be the coach of UConn? I think it's Luke Murray. I think they hire within. I think they're going to give Luke Murray a shot. I think Bill Murray's son is going to be the head coach of the two-time defending national champions. I think that's the reality we're going to find ourselves in, and I don't hate it because I think I don't want to give Luke Murray all the credit, but will Luke Murray follow him to the Lakers? That's the question.
Is he taking his guys?
Is he going to take his guys? Because Luke Murray is not. I don't know what the split is in terms of like who gets credit for whatever, but like it's not a coincidence that Dan Hurley was at UConn, and I'm not saying he was a failure, but like he wasn't
back to back.
Like it
wasn't doing that.
He wasn't doing that.
Yeah.
Like they were not rolling through the NCAA tournament. They were. I mean, that's the whole reason we got the famous press conference now, where he's like, "You better get us now because it's coming and all that." They were down. They were not UConn, and then Luke Murray gets hired. He becomes the offensive coordinator, and then all of a sudden you get Rico Bosco blowing up the group chat where he's like, "Look at these sets UConn's running."
Where were you this morning, Titus?
Motherfucker. I'll let you handle that one.
Hey, I want to be on.
But none of that's a coincidence, and it's Luke Murray's hiring, and Luke Murray has a lot to do with that. So I am curious if he doesn't go, like Dan Hurley would be smart to say, "Luke, I need you in the NBA," but if he doesn't,
then he's the head coach.
I think UConn's got to hire Luke Murray, because beyond just like him demonstrating his knowledge of the game and all of that, I think it's the best play to keep all the guys there that they have. That team that should be a top 10.
You got to hire within.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Hey, I want to be on record. Some things are still sacred. The three-peat would be legendary. Danny Hurley's still gonna be your coach at UConn.
Oh,
that's what I'm betting with my heart, but that's what I want to see.
Okay.
He's a family man. The NBA is not going anywhere. Three-peats come around literally once every 50 years.
What's the best take I could have that would like make me look good? I don't know. He's probably gonna coach the Lakers, but I don't really know what else I could add to make that.
JJ assistant.
JJ assistant. Yeah, I think JJ assistant. I think JJ Redick assistant coach. And Bronny James second round pick. That's my prediction. I think next year
you parlayed it.
I'm gonna parlay Dan Hurley head coach, JJ Redick assistant, and Bronny James second round pick to the Los Angeles Lakers.
Parlay that with a championship.
I'm gonna parlay that with
get it like plus 7,500
with the Lakers championship. All right, thank you, Tate. Congrats to the Celtics on winning the NBA championship tonight.
Here we go.
Hopefully we get a decent series from the finals. I don't know. I have faith the Mavericks will win one, but yeah, Celtics are pretty fucking good. Thanks to everybody watching. We did a live show tonight. It just made the most sense to do it after game one. We might do a couple more of these depending on how the finals go. I don't know, depending on how the schedule all goes. But thank you to those of you who watched live. Everybody listen or watch later. Also, we thank you as well. We'll see you next time. See you guys.